All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We have a surprise Electric Bastionland game for you tonight, as we were supposed to be off this week, but then the state of Florida happened, and we're not off this week. So we're playing a game tonight. Matt couldn't join us at last minute, so we're like, you know what? Let's play some Electric Bastionland. It's been a really long time since we played, and a bunch of us here have played it. I think Adam's the only one who hasn't played it. So the rest of us, we've played it before, but it's a lot of fun, super easy to get into. And what better quick one-shot to throw together in the afternoon, which is what I did, than Electric Bastionland. So, but yeah. I mean, we don't have any characters yet. We're going to do character creation on stream. That's one of the cool things. So why don't we just dive right in and let's just do it. Let's just do stuff. So all of you can go ahead and pull up the character creation document there. So basically, just to give, if you're watching this and you don't know Electric Bastionland, it's a OSR style of game. There's 3 stats or attributes, whatever you want to call them. There's strength, dex, and charisma. They do what you think they do. This is a roll under game. Everyone rolls a d20 and you roll equal to or under your attribute. So if you have like a 14 strength, you want to hit 14 or under, you pass a save. That's what they're called. They're not even really checks. They're just called saves. Same thing with dex, same thing with charisma, etc., etc. The other interesting thing with Electric Bastion is that when you create characters, no classes or anything like that. So like what you get is you get a failed career. It's the thing that you used to do before this game started. You don't really do that anymore because you sucked at it. You failed because it's called a failed career, and now you're in debt and you're trying to do something else. And so based upon the stats that you roll, that kind of determines which failed career you have. And then each failed career has a couple small tables that determine other things, like what items you might start with, if maybe some extra abilities, stuff like that. We've had some really crazy characters in the past. Ashley's killed a bunch of old women once. I remember Jeremy had
Golden Girls.
last time we played, Jeremy had conjoined triplets that started out just like normal triplets, but by the end of the session, one of them was a zombie, one of them was a cyborg, and the middle one was a very scared little boy.
Just a terrified little child.
it was pretty crazy. Galen, thank you so much for that. That's appreciate very much. So yeah, and there's a couple other things here and there in terms of items and armor. We'll tackle that if and when we need to. But a very simple, easy, straightforward game. So why don't we do this? Let's do this one at a time. Melissa just rolled, so I guess Melissa's going first.
So don't listen to instructions well.
So we'll just do this one at a time. So Melissa's up there first. So we've got our stats. So what we do now is we look at this failed careers matrix, and what it essentially has is it's a matrix with your highest ability score and your lowest ability score. And then you find where those two intersect. And that gives you the number of your failed career, Melissa. So you got 12 and 10. So your lowest is 10. All right. So then you go over to our journal section on Foundry, go into the failed careers folder. You go over to 32. And what do you have? Oh, you get a choice.
Do I get a choice?
You do. 32, A and B.
I'll do alpha tester.
Of course you. Why would you not want to be a mockery? You know what a mockery is? Do you know what a mockery is? A mockery is a toy. You should be a
mockery.
You get to be a toy.
We've never had a mockery yet.
I put mockeries in the game, like because they're like NPCs, like mobs, etc. But we never had anyone actually roll a mockery.
All right, I'll be a mockery.
Everyone pressure Melissa into being a mockery instead of an alpha tester. Okay.
I will be a mockery.
All right, go ahead and input the rest of your. We'll cover that in a second. Go ahead and input all your stats, and we'll just kind of find everyone's failed career one at a time, and then we'll do that. Adam, why don't you go next?
All right.
I made this little macro stuff for us. Okay, so you got 13, 9, and 7. So your lowest is a 7, your highest is a 13. Looks like you're 39. You want to head on over? You also get a choice.
Oh boy.
So your choices are Vault Cracker or Acupressurist of Inanimate Objects.
We'll go with the simple one, the Acupressurist of Inanimate Objects.
Was there really even a choice?
Go ahead and input your stats in your character sheet. We'll come back around in a minute once everyone's got failed careers. We'll talk about the next step. Chuck, why don't you go ahead?
That's me.
Acupressors. Oh God, Chuck, you got
11. Oh, man.
5 in strength. They're gonna die really fast.
I am. All right.
God.
5 and
11. It's an 18.
is it an 18? Can I not read?
It's an
I just
18.
can't read. 18, yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I have to go into the other folder for that. That's how low this is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A deconstructionist. Nice.
Deconstructor. Before the new can arise, the old must come down. Doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. So
I just break stuff.
You break shit. That's what it is.
We're gonna wreck it.
God damn it, I think my
Guess
character's named Ralph.
know your character name. Yeah. Go ahead, put your stats in. Ashley, go ahead and roll next.
Ooh,
got?
7 and 10.
Oh, these are not. You guys do not have good stats so
No, we
far.
do not. I got 12.
Okay, you're even worse than Chuck because you're down at the
I
12.
have to open that up. Holy shit. I'm wall-born.
All right. Bastion has rings of walls all the way to its center, wherever that is. You were both warden and resident. So Bastion is the sort of default setting. So Bastionland is a town that's sort of like turn of the century, but still Victorian. It's got this weird elements of like sci-fi. I think like, I don't know, we've been playing it like 1920s-ish, but with like these weird, anachronous components to it, because we can do whatever the hell we want with it. And that's the fun part about it. So, but yeah, you were wall-born. Okay. And then finally, Jeremy, come on, let's get that conjoined triplets again.
All right.
33, I think. No one rolled particularly high.
So 33. Let me go look up what 33 is.
Ooh.
A prize reader.
You had a small kennel of finely bred animals. Now you're down to your last pair. Okay. So everyone get your stats and your character sheets. So everything that you rolled. The stuff does what you think it does. Strength, dex, and charisma. So it does what you think it does. Strength also is kind of like your secondary health. You get hit protection. That's what HP is. So you can put that in as well. Once your HP is depleted, then we start taking stuff from strength whenever you take damage. Hit protection regenerates pretty easily outside of combat, so it's a restorative resource. Like you take like a couple minutes after a fight, you just refresh it, you're fine. Strength, dex, and charisma damage, however, that takes much longer, and probably during the course of this adventure, you probably won't regenerate it. Then there's also money. Money's amount of pounds. For this adventure, it's probably going to be that important, but it is important for figuring out what you get based upon your career. So each of you, if you notice on your character sheet, on like your failed career sheet, I should say, there's like part of it actually has, on the right hand side, there's going to be 2 different tables. Those tables you've already rolled for them, and it kind of already tells you what you get. One of them, I think it's the top one, whatever you rolled for money. So in the case of Jeremy rolled 1. So Jeremy, why don't you tell them what you get for rolling a 1 with money? Can you see?
Let's see. For 1 money, fat worms.
You get
A full jar, extremely effective fish bait.
Yes.
Swap your chain and collar.
Yeah, by default, you would normally get a male and female animal, a striking rod, chain and collar of suitable size, and cleaning wax. But because you got fat worms instead of some of the other animals, you don't get the chain and collar, but you do get fishing gear instead. And then the other table there is based upon your hit protection that you rolled. So you rolled a 5, and so that gives you something else. And the question for you is like, what happened to your breeding enterprise? And that's what your hit protection roll is. So what does it say for you there, Jeremy?
My theories were too controversial.
You also get a new item too.
Well, obviously, to get the animals to properly copulate, you need to be involved and encourage them. And some people think that's a little weird and inappropriate. But I just want to give them the happiest time I can.
So you get to get rid of your striking rod, and you get an electro lash instead. which is bulky, which means you can only carry one bulky thing at a time. But it does do D8 worth of damage, so that's actually a pretty good starting weapon, man. Okay. So go ahead and input all that stuff. Let's see. I'm just going to go in reverse order. So Ashley, you're up next. Who are you? What were you again? What did you get?
Oh, I am a wallborn.
That's right.
My name is Noggin.
Noggin.
I have baton, grappling hook, pack of gum. It's rust flavored. My favorite job, or my old job before I was fired, I was night watch because I'm a little creepy. People do not like to look at me. So putting me in the dark is for the best. And then behind a loose brick, I found Orphan's Ruin. So if I give someone 1 ounce, it pacifies unease, makes me less creepy. 2 ounces puts them to sleep. 3 ounces, eternal sleep.
You found a bunch of weird milk behind a loose brick that can put people to sleep?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's that happened. Okay,
Is
awesome.
that on brand?
That is fairly good, yeah. All right, and then not Melissa. Chuck, you're next. Chuck, what'd you get?
For my salvage?
Yeah,
I got.
You're a deconstructor, right?
Yeah, I got a sub flare gun.
Okay.
It's a one-shot pistol, so it's just a flare gun.
Launches a burning flare immediately skywards, burning through any substance in the way and leaving a fist-width hole. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. You also get a sledgehammer. That's another really
I
good
do. Sledgehammer.
torch. Yeah.
They mocked me. My colleagues mocked me because I have a really bad dress sense. And so because of that, I get a mustard jacket and a mauve shirt.
You have a mustard jacket, mauve shirt, sledgehammer, blowtorch, and a flare gun. All right, man. I think you're going to fit in just fine with this adventure with where we're going tonight.
Where do you see a blowtorch at?
So you automatically get that. If you look at the top, you get sledgehammer, blowtorch. So.
I just needed to read further.
Yeah. All right, Melissa. You ended up with the good one, right? You went. We convinced you to become a mockery, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
So
no bullying.
by
whatsoever.
default, mockeries get hidden knives. So you get a hidden knife and 3 mock bombs. So you have 3 grenades on you, which is crazy. But then what else do you get? What type of mockery are you?
Yes. Hello, I am Polly, the mock fox. Because of that, I have a leather jacket.
Okay.
And this, I don't quite understand at all. What do you have a theatrical flair for? Bureaucracy. So I have an adjustable stapler.
Okay, so we should clarify that a mockery is basically a toy. It's like an imitation of life in felt, wood, and string. You don't need to eat, drink, sleep, or love, but you still feel the drives. So, you're a mock fox with a leather jacket, but are you made of felt? Or are you made of wood? Or are you made of string? Like, are you just like some sort of like puppet thing, or is there like one specific fabric or material that you would lean more towards than the others?
I would say I'm felt under my leather jacket.
Okay, so you're a felt mockery with a leather jacket, a hidden knife, and a bunch of bombs, with a flair for the bureaucracy. Adjustable stapler.
I know. Like the other one, like I could have had a flair for cooking, and I could have had a roll of tinfoil.
Well, you know what, Melissa? That's not what the dice wanted. And
No, the
we're
dice
beholden
wanted
to the
me.
dice. And then we're back out to Adam. Adam, have you been sort of figuring it out as we go here?
Yeah. I think
What did you end up with again?
Just an acupressurist of inanimate objects. Nothing really important. Don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
But I get thirsty sometimes, and it's really hard to get a drink around here because I have to manipulate vessels that hold drink. and they violently combust on exposure to water, so I'm always thirsty.
Oh gosh. Okay. So yeah. So you get by default a set of steel needles, massage ointment, a 20-meter long scroll of esoteric diagrams, and then the question that Adam was answering: what class of inanimate object do you know how to manipulate? He knows how to manipulate vessels that hold drink, and so you also get a pouch of laxative powder. So put that in your notes.
I'm gonna need that. Yeah.
You're definitely gonna need that.
And I don't get lubricated because I can't drink water.
And they violently combust on exposure to water. Oh, jeez. Okay. So those are your stats. Some items are in Foundry. You can drag them over. So if you've got like a sledgehammer or something like that, those should be in game. If you got something weird, it probably won't be, but you should be able to create them on your own. For those of you who got a bulky item, basically what this means is if you're trying to carry too many bulky items at once, it essentially reduces your strength to, like, I think it's either 0 or 1. I have to level check. So you don't really want to carry too many bulky items at the same time. So anyone carrying more than 2 bulky items is reduced to 0 HP. Sorry, 0 HP. So it's just so if you have 2, it's fine, but it's the third one would get you. If you got a blast item, that's AoE. Just think of that in those terms. When you do the damage, you do it AoE. And let's see. Anybody else have questions about anything they might have gotten? Didn't look like there was anything too complicated. Most of it's sort of like used creatively, however you think it makes sense to use, and that's what we go with. Okay?
I think Ashley's our youngest.
So yeah, that's the next question. I like to do it randomly though, because I feel like Ashley is always going to be the youngest if we play this group. So I'm going to
bring Joe in.
I know.
Joe or Long, yeah. Joe's younger than us.
Joe's a few years younger actually.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a random roll of 1 to 5 to see who this is going to be. It's going to be by overlay. It's Jeremy. So Jeremy, on your sheet.
Okay.
On your failed career matrix sheet, on the left-hand side, at the very bottom, like it should tell who are you all indebted to?
I hate to tell you, but we are 10,000 pounds in debt to the Stamp Appreciation Society. We owe backdated subscription fees, but share ownership of a worthless postage stamp collection.
Okay. I don't understand. Okay. So Stamp Appreciation Society is who we're in debt to. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to do another random roll. This is just my little flair. I love that voice, by the way. It's so good. Okay. Adam. Okay. So Adam, you all are, so just getting our setup done, you all are in debt to the Stamp Appreciation Society. The Stamp Appreciation Society is no joke. They have active agents out there pursuing you to make sure to collect your debt naturally. But fortunately, you all have come across a lead to potentially get some treasure and some money to pay off that debt, which is great. But there's another problem, is that it's a time-sensitive lead, because there's a rival group that also has that lead, and they're going to be after that trouble too. So, Adam, who's the rival we have? Like, give me a detail or two about the rival.
Let's see. So, who do we own?
It doesn't have to be associated with the stamps. It could be associated with somebody else. But you're the Stamp Appreciation Society.
I would just say like the bottle cap collectors.
Okay. All right. Okay, fair enough. So you all have gotten together. Somehow you all have met each other. We don't have to get into the details for how, unless you want to. But all of you owe collectively 10,000 pounds to the Stamp Appreciation Society. You have a lead to try to get some of that back, but you're racing the bottle cap collectors to this lead to try to acquire this treasure, and you got to get there before they do. Okay? All right? Any questions? Are we ready to go do this nonsense? Okay. All right. So let's start it up. Get a little music going. I don't know if that even was going to make sense. Okay. So you've heard everything from them thus far. So here we are. We've been playing for a while. We made a borough a long time ago within Bastion. It's a massive metropolitan city, and I tend to set kind of all of them either in this borough or near this borough. You all are in the west end of what's called the Painted Tongues borough of Bastion. It's where artists and bohemians tend to kind of roam about unabated, and where they kind of have like little street fairs and vendors, and it's definitely very artsy, but also a bit downtrodden in some ways. On the western side is somewhat industrial, and it kind of abuts this canal that swoops north to south. And there is an old metalworks factory, just called the Foundry, that sits relatively unplundered by the masses. Now, more recently, from what you've heard as part of the rumor, and some of the other details you might know of the city, there's been an independent cadre of virtuosos have taken root there, and they've been holding proto-raves and converting parts of the factory to like recording studios and other entertainment venues, usually for like rich, the children of rich people. But the rumor you have is that there are vaults of precious metals, like silver and gold, that are untouched and are waiting to be repurposed and reclaimed. And if you were able to access that and come away with that, you might be able to pay off a significant portion, if not all, of your debt. Who knows? So, we are going to just jump right to it. You all know each other. We're not going to do any sort of travel across. We're just going to say it's late in the evening. The sun has gone down. The gas lights all up and down this sort of western street have started to flicker on. You can see droves of bohemians are working their way back from their street stalls into their kind of tenement house apartments across the way. You can hear like the distant sounds of some kind of like farmer's market / party going on to the east. You hear the sounds of sewage farmers, canal fishermen, and canal whalers kind of going about their business as that's a nocturnal activity. And you are now at the Foundry, just outside of it, on the street, passers-by going to and fro. The site itself perfectly mimics a manufacturing plant. Like, it looks exactly like it. But if you're staring really carefully, you start to notice that the aesthetic is just a little too perfect at times, as if someone is kind of artificially
Jeff's
maintaining...
audio cut out?
What?
Yeah, you're muted.
I'm muted.
Yeah.
I hear you.
We can't hear you.
Just suddenly happened.
How about now? Can we hear me now?
Did your microphone die?
Still can't hear you.
Oh.
By the way, for everyone, there is a Bastion map. If you go to the upper left in Foundry and click that, there is a Bastion map if you want to see.
Okay, how about now? Can you all hear me?
There you are.
Back.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
What happened?
I don't know. It says my internet connection is unstable. You're unstable. All right.
Yeah.
Where did you all last hear? Oh, Stream could hear him at least. You guys could. I guess it was Zoom who freaked out.
Weird. And now you get a chance to see that you have a complication. So we are
Yeah.
right outside the Foundry. That was one of the last things I heard. Is that
Okay, so
outside
you're
the
right
Foundry.
outside the Foundry. It perfectly mimics a manufacturing plant, but if you stand there watching, kind of skulking and scouting, kind of looking at it, you see with a very fairly discerning eye that it's just a too perfect aesthetic, as if someone, perhaps the new owners, perhaps the new occupiers, are kind of trying a little too hard to maintain that kind of grimy and rugged viewpoint of like an industrial era, industrial section. Everything just seems perfect. Music is booming like crazy already, and you see moving from the street, getting out of these fancy carriages, some of which are motorized, others have these beautiful horses that are pulling them. You see these wealthy teens dressed in relatively tight-fitting Victorian-era clothing, some of which have like these sort of glowing oddities that they have adorned to their necks and to their wrists here and there. A few of them have extraordinarily fancy makeup that they're suddenly wearing. Their hair done up in ways that seems very bizarre, but at the same time still fits this bohemian, this sort of artist creative section of the town. But you see in the midst of the crowd kind of moving into this factory, a bunch of steelworkers, like people dressed up literally like they're steelworkers. Like, it makes no sense. Like these heavy blue collar, grimy, sweaty looking people. And as you're watching kind of from the road, you can see that a massive line that leads up towards the entrance to this factory turn proto rave club. You can see that there's this huge line mixed with that mixed company, but you also notice that there is this hulking bouncer that is wearing this massive patina bell, like as a helmet, that seems to be like checking people before deciding whether they get entry. Some of people are allowed in, others get dragged away by some kind of security. You know that somewhere inside of this place are these precious metal vaults. And this is the front door. So I turn over to you all. What would you like to do?
If nobody has any objection, you did mention that there were some fishermen out here. They tend to be an older collection of gentlemen. They might remember something about this building from times past. And I think maybe I can mosey on up to them and be all socialite and share some of these fat worms with them and my expertise with animals and whatnot. Maybe see if I could gather some information about the area. These young bastards, coming in and ruining your spot and everything.
Perfect. You would know that there is a canal along back, and that likely the back of the factory abuts against it. And there's other buildings and such that lean against it, so you could easily go behind the factory, like circumvent the large section of land that this covers and head back there. Anyone going with or offering an alternative?
No, Noggin is going.
Yeah, I gotta be in a good look, John. I'll go with him.
Still trying to figure out Ralph's voice. I think he's going to be a small child as a deconstructor. So, yeah, guys, let's just, I'm dressed up real nice. So let's just go to the front door. I'll get in. Look at these duds.
You sound a little bit like you shouldn't be Ralph. You sound like you should be a Steven.
What does that mean? Listen, are you talking wise over there? Because, I may be tiny, but I'm real fierce.
Well, I believe you.
I guess if that's where you're going, I'll go too, because I get lonely.
I understand loneliness very well. It's important for animals to be social with each other. Closeness and connection are very important.
How sticky do your hands get?
They're never clean.
All right.
I sleep with rats at night. That is sometimes the only way I stay warm.
Okay.
Rats are very generous.
Augie's gonna tug on her kind of leather jacket and just gonna be like, I think I would have been all right, but I guess I'll go with you all.
Okay. So is everyone then following Jeremy? Actually, let me get your name so I write them down. I got Noggin for Ashley. Jeremy, what'd you end up calling yourself?
I'm Poindexter.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Chuck, who are you?
Ralph, spelled with an F.
Okay. Melissa, who are you?
Augie.
Poggy?
Yeah.
Okay. Poggy and Noggin. Okay. All right. Poggy, Noggin, Poindexter, Ralph, and Adam. Who are you?
Lucky Bonadonna.
Okay. I'm going to call you Lucky. All right. So you start moving around the outskirts of this industrial site. There's this huge fence that is in surprisingly decent shape. As you get close to it, you realize that there's the signs of rust all over it, but when you get a little closer, you realize the rust is fabricated, like it's some sort of kind of artistic spray on to make it look grimy and old, but in fact, this ironwork fence that surrounds the metal factory is in actually great, wonderful shape. When you look at the factory as you're kind of circumventing it, you do notice that it's extraordinarily large. It goes fairly high up into the night sky, and as you look at the top, you can actually see that there's these beams and rafters that are exposed on like the upper levels of the factory itself, like bones from like this huge concrete corpse, and you can see what looks like the flickering of lights that are kind of constantly being shined upwards through them, and kind of blinks out here and there, darkness, light, and this sort of rapid exchange of light. When you finally make it around to the back, You notice the first thing you notice is the water is kind of flooding the rear of the factory. It almost looks like the factory's been built almost on a hill, and as if the factory has partially started to slide down into the canal itself. And you can see that there's sections of the rear part of the canal, or part of the factory, that don't really seem to be enclosed within the main portions of the building, that are kind of already overtaken by water here and there. Poindexter, looking at the water itself, you don't see any active like fish moving around, but you do see like weird currents suggesting that there's something underneath there. But it's very dark, and it sort of stinks back here, and you can see that there's like industrial runoff that has kind of clogged or colored the water in this area. And you can see that there's a bunch of boats, these patchwork boats, and a handful of people that are on these boats that are milling about immediately like beyond the factory in the canal. But also some of them have sort of pulled their boats into the flooded portions of the factory itself, and you can tell that they're like netting for something. Like they're like throwing their nets down. And the last thing you notice is that there's this, like the back side of the factory that goes right up to the water. You can see it's almost like a canal lock. There's like this huge double doors, like kind of preventing entry from the back side, but otherwise that's the way in. And you see another one of those bouncers, those bell-headed bouncers standing atop the lock. That's what you see out back. What would you like to do?
What's the plan?
It's a nice fence they got there.
Are you still gonna talk to those fishermen about possible entry? Or, how cool would it be if we like climbed up to the top and then, I don't know if they have like glass ceilings, but then we break through and then we're like the disco ball at the disco.
That sounds like a great way to break your leg. I like my legs.
If you'll want a bit of a diversion, I've got some bombs. I can maybe set a bomb off a little bit down the canal.
But
maybe people would pay attention to that, and then we could hop right over.
Hey, you got a glass flask or something like that?
And Poggy just pulls out one of the little bombs.
Well, especially if we want to time it, there's just the one guy up there, up above the gates. If somebody could distract him, and then, obviously we always want to split the party. That's the way to go. You always split the party. So a little bit of distraction, a little bit of, doing something to him. And then, what's the worst that could happen?
Can just pull the pin and throw.
You never
I
know.
guess so.
They could be with the pop cap collectors,
Oh, and especially do it over there next to the people that are trying to net something, because they're working really hard. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever done dynamite fishing, but oftentimes the concussive blast that sends shockwaves through the water will then just cause the fish there to just come floating to the top, and they'll just go into a frenzy, grabbing all the free fish. Not that I've ever done that.
I
Hey, how many of them bombs you got?
What's it to you?
Because if you got a lot, you may need them for later.
I got 3.
You want to use one right now?
Might as well.
All right.
So I'm just throwing this bomb. Is that like strength or dex, or?
So you're trying to throw it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe give a couple of us a second to like get up close to the bell head before you toss the bomb, so we're like ready to like react.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll say the canal lock itself, it's like a fairly tall, think of it like a gate basically, and it's fairly thick, and he's on top of it. It's probably about 15 feet tall or so, give or take a few feet, and there's water all leading up to it, along with like various pillars and things of steel beams that kind of decorate here and there. And you also see a handful of these like sewage farmers that are farming the area, even inside of the grounds of the factory. So you would need to get relatively close. Like, you're not going to have to roll a dex or strength to throw it, but you are going to have to get closer to be able to kind of get it all the way up there. Because what's your strength score?
12.
Yeah, it's unlikely you would be able to throw it that high from too far away while wading in water. So you would probably want to get a little bit closer or find a way, to kind of close the distance.
Well, because I'm not trying to take down the gate. I'm trying to just do a distraction to get people away from the gate. So we can get over the gate. Okay,
so you're just trying to blow this up. You're trying to blow something up to get the guy at the top to come down and look?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, go ahead and so you throw it, no problem. So you'll say you throw it into the middle of the water, you get relatively close, you hop on someone's shoulder or something like that, and you chuck the bomb in there, it explodes. It causes this sort of huge, very much like dynamite fishing, that huge eruption of water goes up. You see all sorts of like shrapnel and chunks of slag and metal just kind of get thrown all over the place. Everyone roll a dex save really fast.
Oh, good. Okay.
Hey, Arvin, how's it going?
That's a fail.
That does make sense because you're kind of still near the blast zone more than the rest of us.
Oh no.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. No. No.
Okay. Who failed?
I did.
Okay. So as the five of you are trying to move and stay on kind of dry land, hopping on like these little islands of like detritus here and there, or little walkways, and you throw, the explosion itself is quite enormous, much more than you might have realized there, Poggy, as it not only throws all this stuff up in the air, it splashes onto you. It causes kind of the waters around to kind of just get thrown up onto the beam in which you're standing. The three of you who failed, you fall down into this sewage and sludge, and you are coated in it. And so you can just write on your character sheets that you smell like sewage, and you smell like sewage for a little bit of time.
Okay.
Y'all stinkers now.
Well, sometimes it just happens. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
What should be.
Boom was a bit bigger than I was expecting.
So you notice that the guy with the bell looks down, and you can see that he pulls something off of his looks like his utility belt, and he starts banging the side of his head with some sort of chime, and his helmet just starts to shake. It gets louder and louder, and then you can see another person suddenly appear behind him, kind of climbs up onto the lock from behind, and he starts climbing down on the other side to investigate. Not only that, but some of these other sewage farmers in the various boats around, like, they see you throw this bomb, like, hey, what are you doing, man? What's going on around here? What are you trying to take out our business here? This shit's gonna explode around here. You can't just throw explosives in here. There's like oil runoff. There's like inflammable things. What's wrong with you? And so there's now like a group of these sewage farmers that are getting kind of up in your face now, Poggy, and like just yelling at you something fierce about doing this as this bell-headed figure is climbing down the side of the lock and is kind of moving in your directions. What do you all want to do?
Leave. We should go.
I want to go sneak over there and hide by the door. That way when they come through, I can just slip in real quick, all sneaky like.
Okay, roll a dex save to try to sneak past.
Look at that. I failed.
Okay. Adam, what are you up to? What is Lucky doing?
Lucky's just trying to push past the angry fisherman before the guard gets here.
Okay.
He's like, excuse me, come on, all right. Come on, get off my feet.
Yeah, get off my feet. Get off your feet. Get off. And then like they just start shoving around. And then one of them decides it's going to take out this big bucket like stank that's in its boat, and it's just gonna hurl it and kind of just hurl it right at you, Lucky. Not the bucket itself, but just basically tosses this huge chunk of water at you, kind of coating you in some particular way. And as it lands on you, you can feel like a little sizzle as like the bits and pieces on your skin. You can kind of feel them start to, like, there's some sort of acidic reaction that's happening here. Your clothes are kind of getting stained, and you stink as bad as everyone else does. What do you all want to do? And also, you're going to take sorry, 1 second, where'd I put that? Oh my god, I completely just lost it. Let's see. You also are going to take 5 points against your HP, your hit protection, as this like heated bit of stank from the bucket of this man is now coating your face and your arms. What the rest of you want to do?
Adam, don't you only have 1 HP?
Yeah, so first you take from your hit protection, and then you must take from your strength.
That's correct.
So
reduce.
Terrible.
Yeah, so 1 comes off your HP, and then you lose 4 strength.
Noggin only has 2 HP, so she feels your miserableness. I feel it.
So it sounds like there's a gentleman who's climbing down the ladder, which means he's relatively occupied, and he has
Yes.
a large metal thing all around his head. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
And I have a leash or a lash that can emit electronic energies, correct?
That's what it said, electric lash.
That sounds wonderful.
I would like to electrify his noggin as he's climbing down the ladder and defenseless, because
Okay.
I'm a good person.
Okay. All right. So hang on for that for a second. Does anybody want to do anything about this sewage farmer who just threw stuff onto Lucky?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, does anybody else want... So the way that combat works, we're like moving into it pretty... Normally you would do dex saves and stuff, but we're just going to move it this way. So what happens is I need to know who's targeting whom. And so I need to know who's targeting the bell guy, who's targeting the sewage farmer, because damage is kind of quirky. But I just need to know who everyone's going after. So I know that Jeremy Poindexter is going after the bell guy. I know that Lucky is going after the sewage farmer.
Augie will stay with Lucky.
Okay, so Lucky and Poggy are going after the sewage farmer. Ashley, what are you doing on Noggin?
Noggin is going to stay next to Poindexter and be ready in case the other guy tries to do something.
Okay. All right, so Adam and Melissa, will start with you. We'll do the sewage farmer first because that's the most immediate. What do you two do in like retaliation for this spread of sewage?
You know, when I was younger, I say this to the guy who tossed it on me. You know, when I was younger, I used to be real thirsty, and sometimes, they make me fetch a pail from the well, like a bucket. I just drink straight from the bucket, as I want to make that bucket combust, because it's a drinking vessel.
That's fair. I think that's fair. There's liquid
And
in
it
it.
is wet right now.
It is
with
wet. What's the damage on that?
I don't know.
Let's see. I didn't have it in the sheet.
Let me see if I can find that again.
So it's okay. Well, we can just say it's something like, so it's, violently combusts on exposure to water. So you're treating the object, the vessel it holds is drink. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Oh, after 30 minutes spent treating the object. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to do instead? Sorry.
I'm gonna be like, hey, you gonna need that bucket? Like, you just dumped it out. You don't need it no more, do you? We're gonna try and convince him to give you the bucket.
Okay. I don't know why he would listen to you.
So can I jump in here?
Yeah, please.
So my mockery specifically was, what do you have theatrical flair for? And the answer was bureaucracy.
Okay.
So can I try to join in this here?
Okay. You're trying the two of you are trying to talk him out of the bucket that he owns.
You're
Right.
trying to mediate?
And then
After you blew up something where he was working. Okay.
No.
So, Poggy, I'm all over the place with having an accent or not. Basically, Poggy is going to come and just be like, I was told that blowing things up under the water would make the fish go up, and it would make your job easier. And so, we were just out, we were doing some things, and we thought, hey, you seem like you were working hard. We would try to help you out.
Okay.
Yes. So we help you out. You help us out. As
Oh,
like
the gaslight.
I'm trying to make that request less of a nice request and more of a like, you should really give it to me.
Okay. So you guys are both trying to talk him into doing different things. It sounds like, Melissa, are you trying to talk him into giving you the bucket?
Poggy is just trying to get out of here without.
Right. That's what I thought.
Like,
and I feel like
yeah.
that makes sense. I don't see why or how he would be talked into giving you his bucket, but go ahead and roll a charisma save, Poggy. Go ahead and roll a charisma save, and since and you could roll it at advantage if you want. So roll twice, take the better. Since Lucky is there helping you, adding with like these weird sort of threatening moments about taking his stuff. I don't think you're getting the bucket from him, Adam. I just don't see any realistic reason why he would be giving you his bucket. But go ahead and how did you roll there, Melissa?
So succeeded on both.
Okay. So the guy will just be like, it's not. Maybe if you're going for fish and stuff, but that's not what we're going for. What's wrong with you? This isn't what you pick up here. You're picking up incendiary things. We're getting liquids. We're going to be making things with them. You throw stuff in here. You throw explosive in here. You might cause the whole damn thing to catch on fire. What's wrong with you? You don't do this. At the very least, you say fire in the hole or something like that. You warn people. I mean, we're here. The waves, the boats are getting knocked over left and right, and then you come shoving around, and you think we work here. What's wrong with you? Think about it next time. You're going to get someone hurt.
Oh, yeah, okay. And so Poggy will kind of put her arm around Lucky and just be like, we'll get you a bucket. We'll find you one inside.
It's not the bucket I want.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to take something from him for what he did to me.
But then I kind of screwed their stuff up. So I'll find you one, though. I'll make it up to you. How's that?
All right.
All right.
All right. Meanwhile, Poindexter, you are electrically lashing out at this bell-headed bouncer that's climbing down the ladder. Go ahead.
That is correct.
So you don't have to roll to hit in this game. It's all literally just damage rolls. But the only question is whether, Noggin, you're doing anything to also try to do damage to this person?
No, I'm focused on the one who's still up on top.
Okay, you're just kind of keeping an eye. All right. So go ahead and roll damage there, Jeremy.
Okay. That's going to be a D8 on a metal bell.
Okay.
There we go. It's only a 4, but
4 points of damage. So what does it look like as your electric lash goes out?
I mean, it's an electric whip, and it goes out. It wraps around his head, and it just kind of like pulsates. The metal kind of glows a bit, and he probably screams in terror.
Yeah. And you do hear like the sounds of like metal kind of like echoing off of this or electricity kind of like coursing through this metal, and you hear and then we'll say that, so I'm trying to remember your names. Noggin, you are, as you're watching the guy up top, he does seem to kind of turn and look, but he doesn't look towards the guy. He instead looks towards where it seems good old Ralph is trying to very carefully sneak up. And as Ralph kind of gets into the shadows,
being sneaky, so I drag my big old sledgehammer because it's too big for me.
through the water. You're like waist deep in water as you're doing this, by the way. And so you watch the guy up top there, Noggin, like lift this big old hulking piece of just like slag or some crap piece of metal and just throws it down in the direction of.
When he's distracted, that's when I react? I want to throw my grappling
You said you were waiting
hook.
Specifically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I want to try and like catch his clothes or something and pull him into the water.
Okay. So normally the way it works is that like whoever is at most risk or whoever is doing the more difficult thing has to roll. I think you're trying to target him. I think it's just 2 actions. We'll say roll a dex save to see if you can literally get him in the midst before he throws. So it's sort of like a text to see if you can do it fast enough. Okay,
4.
and you do.
Pass.
And so his arm goes back, and all of a sudden the grappling hook just wraps around this big old bicep, and the slag just drops. You hear it clank against the top of the canal lock here, and his arm kind of gets yanked past. And then we'll do on another round here, we'll give you a chance to do strength checks to pull him.
Cool.
But Ralph, what do you want to do? Because you haven't actually done anything.
Yeah, so like no one's seen me yet. I'm being super sneaky. So I just want to run straight towards the thing.
Okay.
The gate or whatever it is, the words.
Yes.
I'm just going to run, and I want to be real athletic, and just like I got my sledgehammer, and I'm just like, I gotta go.
Okay. So he's running through the water, yelling "Gotta go" at this closed canal lock. All right, now everyone. So everyone now at this point, we're gonna call it combat with the bell-headed guys. The sewage farmer dude I think has been assuaged, unless you want to take it any further, Lucky or Poggy. But everyone roll a dex save at this point. Those of you who succeed can go before the bad guys. Those of you who fail go after.
Failed.
Oh no, I failed. I think we all failed.
It takes a second to pull the wet pack. It's very useful, but it's a little bit on the awkward side.
Okay.
I just gotta pull on my rope a bit.
So who goes before? Who pass? Anyone pass?
Nobody.
Nobody pass? All right.
No one passed.
So they're gonna go first then. So the guy whose head is like currently shaking with electricity, he's gonna turn around, he's gonna look at who's ever closest, and he's actually going to unfortunately see Poindexter because he failed is still safe, and now he's like running like crazy. And so he's gonna hop down into the water right next to where Ralph is, and he is going to swing at Ralph, and this will be. Actually, no, he's going to headbutt you. That's what it is. So he headbutts you for a total of 3 points of damage. So he drops down, his head's still kind of shaking. You can tell he's like kind of still screaming in pain, but he just headbutts Ralph. And you hear this come out as he headbutts you. Then the other one is going to be up on top, his arms now covered in the grappling hook. He's going to yank on the grappling hook to see if he can pull Noggin sort of basically towards the canal lock itself. So I'm going to roll a strength save for him. He's got a strength of 15. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. Strength of 12. Strength of 12. My bad. Strength of 12. He rolled a 1, which is basically a crit success. And so your grappling hook wraps around his arm. He grabs it, looks down, and just yanks. And you watch as poor Noggin goes flying through the air and just slams into the wall of the lock, like where the gate is, right next to where Ralph is. And you can take, we'll say, I'll do like a 4-point thing. 2 points of damage from smashing right into the lock.
You guys.
Oh God! Oh God!
All of you now can go. We have two. So there's 2 targets. There's the one that's on top of the lock that's got now the grappling hook of Noggin in his hand, and then there's the one that's now in the water that just headbutted Ralph. Those are your 2 targets. So you basically declare your targets and what you're doing against them because damage is rolled kind of in a collective way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This dude that just headbutted me, it really hurt, and I'm trying not to cry because I'm a big boy, and big boys don't cry. And so I'm going to try and hit him right in the knee with my sledgehammer.
Okay, is anybody else going after the one that's in the water?
Yes.
Okay, so Lucky, so what do you do? Describe what happens.
Gonna jump down there and start taking out my steel needles to put them in different points in the guard in order to make them not able to move.
Okay. Do you want to just have the effect, or do you want this to also do damage?
It doesn't appear to be a weapon, so...
Okay. So you're just trying to basically like immobilize them? All right, so you don't have to...
Yeah.
Then that's fine. All right,
He's
anybody
making
else?
him more conductive for the electricity.
Poggy is going to go after the one that's engaged with Noggin.
Okay, the one that's kind of like holding on
Yeah.
to the grappling
Yeah.
hook, and she's like, okay, so you're going to go after the one on top of the lock. Okay. And then Poindexter and Noggin, what are you two doing?
Well, I mean, I do, as past career, try to bring things to a finish. So I'm going to go after the man who's got a lot of metal rods in him, and I'm going to electrify those little bricks.
Okay, that's okay. I like that. So the one, so I guess you're targeting the one that's right next to Ralph.
Yeah.
And then finally, Noggin, what are you doing?
I am just going to try and pull with all my strength so both of us are in the water.
Okay, that will be a contested strength. So let's start with rolling damage against the guy here. I'll say because Lucky specifically put the needle points in, and then Poindexter, you like hit him and try to electrify them. You can take a bonus die. So roll your normal lash plus another d6. Chuck, roll your sledgehammer. Whoever gets the higher total is the amount of damage that's applied.
I go 1.
Okay. It's 8 points of damage, which is going to put him into his strength for sure. So now what happens is when you run out of HP and he goes into his strength, he has to actually roll a strength save now. And if he's successful, then he's going to be fine and he can continue to fight. But if he fails, he's effectively going to fall unconscious from this. So I need a 10 because I took 2 points. I took of that 8 points of damage, 6 of it went towards the rest of his HP, and he took his strength 12 down to 10. So, and he fails. So Jeremy, Chuck, Adam, between the three of you, describe how you take this guy in the water out.
I just look at him and go, "You seem real tense. Need to relax."
So needles all punching in.
All right, I've got him set up for you, Ralph. Bring him to the finish.
Yeah, I take the sledgehammer, then get it, stretch it, pull it up real hard, and I just swing it sideways right to the side of his knee, and it goes crack, and ooh, and down
He's
it goes.
halfway down in the water at this point now, and then Jeremy Poindexter.
Yeah, I was just, I got the whip around him. I'm electrifying him. I want to help my friends, get the money shot in.
So he electrifies and he falls. Okay, then the other one is between Noggin and Poggy. So Poggy, what are you doing? I know what Noggin's doing. Do you have a ranged weapon you're throwing at the guy, or what are you doing to the guy up on the top of the lock?
No, Noggin was trying to pull him down, so I have my knife at the ready. So if Noggin can pull down, I'm gonna try to shiv.
Okay, so you're just gonna ready. If not, okay. So
Yeah.
Noggin,
So I go first.
Yeah.
Noggin, we're gonna make this a contest. Actually, just roll a strength test. Let's see if you can pull him down.
19.
If you go,
I imagine
pull yourself
like
up.
Noggin's like goblin size. She's tiny and she's trying really hard.
Okay. Unfortunately, you're unable to pull him down, which means Poggy, your turn's kind of wasted. All right, everyone, roll another dex save. See if you go before.
Oh,
or
another
after.
fail.
Failed again.
Oh no! Oh my
Oh,
god!
I'm
Hey,
rolling rocks.
Okay, so
Poindexter, save us all.
all right, Poindexter, you get to go before this guy. You can also hold if you want, but you can go before this guy. Now, one of the things that gets kind of quirky with Electric Bastionland is like before and after, like you have to target. Like there's only one mob to target now, but the way it is, like we have to know who you're targeting so that everyone who's attacking the same target can roll damage, and we take the highest damage. So, Poindexter, what are you doing?
Well, he was in the midst of that contested strength check.
Yeah.
And even though Noggin, her effort was minuscule, he does have a metal grappling hook in his hands.
It's true.
And I would like to make use once again of this electrified whip because I'm a very good person.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll say because one of your allies put some extra metal on him. I know he's got a bell. But put some extra metal on him. Go ahead and take that bonus die again. So roll your normal damage plus a d6.
Excellent. Oh,
okay. And so you just hear, it doesn't actually take him all the way out yet, but you hear him. Then he's going to go next, and he's going to now try to pull. He's going to try to pull Noggin all the way up, and so this is going to be.
She's just hanging limply at this point.
You never said you let go, so I'm just assuming
Yeah,
you're still
she's
holding
just hanging
on.
there. Yeah, just limply.
Hey, let go or Noggin?
He tries to pull you up, but he's kind of like shaking. And maybe somebody else grabs. Maybe you're right next to her, Poggy, and you kind of pull Noggin right back down, and so she doesn't go all the way up. All right, the rest of you haven't gone. Not Poindexter. You're at the base of this canal lock, this gate. You're like about 10 to 15 feet below this guy who's up on top of the gate. What do you want to do?
All right. Poggy will take the knife that she was going to try to shiv him with and just throw it and see if she can just hit him with the knife that way.
Okay, sounds good. Ralph and Lucky and Noggin, what are you doing?
I mean, if there's no guards in front of the door, I'm going to go up to the door.
You did. That's why you can't hear me.
Yeah,
I'm
Chuck's
muted.
I was like, I just look at Mr. Chuck doing this. I'm like, what
This,
the hell
I'm
is he doing?
going, and I'm like, why isn't anyone responding? I'm saying all sorts of terrible things, and like it was just like not there. No, we got to go up and over this, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna grab some mud, and throw it at this guy. I don't know. I'm very, very dangerous from a short distance.
I got the rope you could climb up.
That's true. You could.
know?
I could, or I could throw some mud at this guy and hope that it's poop.
Okay. Oh God. And then Lucky, what are you doing?
Lucky will go ahead and start climbing up that rope, knowing
Okay.
that Noggin's gonna give it a little tension on one end, and the guard's gonna give it tension on the other, and just hope that either one doesn't give out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because the grappling hooks, the rope is attached. You climb up, no roll necessary, and you climb up. So then, Melissa, roll your damage because you're actually doing an attack. But Chuck, roll a dex save to see if you hit him. Yeah.
Take some mud in your eye. Look at that. I didn't.
You throw stuff up. The mud just kind of splatters against like the side of his side of the bell on his head and doesn't really seem to do much. But 5 points of damage, however, as he's kind of right now he's kind of caught by the rope. He's got mud being flung at him. Now he's got Lucky kind of right next to him, and he's sort of dancing around a bit. Turns, knife comes sailing up and manages to catch him for 5 points of damage, which will put him down to 8 strength. So I got to roll a strength save. He's below his HP, so I have to roll 8 or under to stay up, and I don't. As where does the knife hit him, Melissa? Head does not count because they're covered with these big old bells.
So imagining like the way he's kind of extended where he's holding, and it like hits him like right up in the armpit.
Okay, so just digs like right underneath, and he just flops down right in front of you, Lucky, after you finish climbing up. Okay, so you look around, you all take stock. You've got these two bell-headed individuals. Neither of them are dead. They're just kind of knocked out. The sewage farmer is sort of watching this, just sort of shaking their heads as you all are there. What do you want to do?
I think it would be prudent to take these helmets and the clothing and, make ourselves have a certain look to us. Yeah, or at least have that option available to us.
Hmm.
All right. This is always a good time to play dress up.
Okay. Who's taking the bells? So the clothes are just there's nothing special to them. They're just sort of like steelworker coveralls. But who is taking the heads?
Lucky will take one.
I was about to say,
Lucky's
yeah,
going.
Lucky, your face could use some covering,
Yeah,
respectfully.
it sure could. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Okay. So these are bulky, which means if you're carrying more than 2 bulky items, your HP is reduced to 0. They also give you 1 armor, and they give you the ability to headbutt. And so if you headbutt, it's a D8 damage, and it also causes, in like a small blast radius, anyone there has to roll like a charisma save against the ringing of the bell. We'll cover that when it gets to it. It didn't happen. The only time I used the headbutt was no one was next to Chuck. So just remember 1 armor, bulky, and a D8 worth of damage. Who's got this? Who's got the second one?
I mean,
Boy,
it's,
Noggin, you should get one of those for your noggin.
I agree. I think, it's
I
only
feel
fair.
like that my whole body would be inside of it.
If you're as small as you describe yourself, it'd probably be half your body. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, my HP is already at 0, and I only have 10 strength.
Are you
Your
right
HP's
at
at
0
0?
HP?
Yeah.
Right at 0?
I take a wound or something, right?
You take a scar. Yeah, you should have told me that. How much? Do you remember how much damage was done to you? They
I
take you
took
to 0.
2. So-
Shaken nerves.
Okay. What's that mean?
You stammer and shake after you take something to calm your nerves. You can re-roll your maximum HP on a D6 and keep the result if it's higher.
Okay.
Anyone have any booze or anything around?
I have my milky drink. If I take 1 ounce, it pacifies unease.
That makes perfect sense. So you sip a little bit
Yeah.
on your weird orphan milk. Roll a D6.
So I don't. It's not like it's a bottle and it has like a cloth.
Like a baby's bottle? Like, oh.
No, like it's like a weird jar bottle, but it has a cloth. And you have to suck it out of the cloth.
Oh no, it's like a cheesecloth covered thing, and like, oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. It was bad before. It's worse now.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a D6, Ashley. gross person. Is 4 higher than what you previously had? Yes, you're muted. You can take it.
Yes.
So go ahead and change your HP now to 4.
I had 2. So does that fill me up to 4 HP, or am I still at 0?
Yeah, I mean,
Just with a max of 4.
Just HP hit protection is sort of like a encounter resource. So if you take a breather afterwards, just for a few minutes or whatever, you can regain your hit points. I think it's like 10 minutes. I think is the rest or whatever. But once you finish drinking your weird orphan milk through your cheesecloth, you feel reinvigorated.
Chunky,
Okay.
you know?
All right.
Oh God, maybe. But Poggy, do you want to have the other bell then?
I am not much bigger than her. Really?
I'll take it. I'll put it on my head. Won't be so pretty. Although it's really big because I too am a child. That's how I explain my 5 strength. So I'll put it
I
on.
think you're still like 6'4".
3 of you
Yeah,
are
well,
like
you
4
know.
feet tall or less.
That's how they grow them in Kansas.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So Lucky, you put the bell on. You realize that you actually can. Whoever else has it too. You realize that you can actually see through it, like from the inside out. You actually can visualize things in front of you. Everything's a little bit darker, but you can still kind of see through these things somehow, whatever the hell they're made out of. You're hearing strange things though. You're hearing the sounds of like voices like inside the bell, like blah,
Hey, shush.
And when you say shush, they don't shush. They keep going. But it's a little annoying. But nonetheless, you have this on, and you can also put the coveralls on easily enough to look like one of these bouncers.
Hey, we are those people too.
No, I don't. I don't hear even you. Everything's quiet now.
And then, as you say that, you hear as they start to kick.
I hear that shit. It's weird.
All right, okay.
What,
as long as I'm-
what is it that you're hearing?
That's perfect.
You know, I think I learned how to speak whale. I think they're telling you hello. And
I think you speak very well, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Jeremy, your face.
So yeah, I mean, you're doing a good job. I know what you're saying. Well, you're not saying nothing now, though.
You're
That's
done
okay.
scaring them off.
I mean, she speaks well.
Oh no.
I mean, if you feel you understand what they're saying, by all means, let us know.
Yeah.
If you tell me if they say anything dangerous, I will let us know.
No, they haven't said anything dangerous. They said.
That means that he's going to cut your throat out. That's a little dangerous.
Oh well, maybe I should just lift it up a little bit there.
Anyways, we caused a scene. We should probably go before the backup guards get here.
I could use a drink.
When you look on the other side of the lock up here, Lucky, you can see that like the water extends for a little bit. Like there's a little bit of a canal that extends in, but again, it's like the whole factory's on a slight of an angle. So eventually, the water kind of dissipates as you watch this kind of long loading tunnel end, and you can see what looks like these like a kind of a heavy set of these industrial doors. But you can also tell that there's kind of like filament around it, so you can see light and you can hear sounds kind of pumping through them. So it seems like that door leads kind of further into the main area of like the main floor where like this proto rave is happening.
How many filaments?
It's all the way around. So I mean, you'd probably say there's at least 3 or 4 of these like little almost like pipe cleaner type things like kind of framing the door.
So it's not a monofilament.
All right. The
We're all up and
bell
over.
emits a strange sound, and Lucky's head explodes. It's weird.
Oh my god.
how
That one
that
meant
happens.
that you did the pun. That means you die.
What do y'all want to do?
I mean,
I want to check
Right.
out the rave itself, scope out the area.
Okay. Okay. So you climb down, head a little further inward, get up to the door. You got to push it open, and you feel it kind of bump up against somebody as you open it up. But as it opens, and it does open, it's not locked. You hear just the sound of like just really strange like music, like harpsichord mixed with some sort of flute-like sound, but it's all extraordinarily fast. And you can see the light is kind of flickering at the same time, super fast, like creating these different rhythms here and there. But as the door opens up, you see that it bumps, and then you hear a ding, and there's another one of these bell-headed bouncers that's on the other side of the door. And they turn to look, and they see both Lucky and I think it was Ralph, who are now wearing a bell on their heads, is kind of look at you. And then you hear,
Pink.
and they step off to the side to let you through.
nice.
Okay. So, you guys all go inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish I had like weird harpsichordian like music, but I don't, unfortunately. So, but it's very upbeat. I don't have anything that fits it, so whatever. Actually, you know what? Maybe I have some cyberpunk music. I think I might have cyberpunk, like a cyberpunk bar, which isn't quite what it is. It's like EDM mixed with Victorian harpsichord stuff. I do have Victorian things, but that's not quite it either. I do have a cyberpunk bar. Yeah, look at that. This is all tabletop audio stuff, by the way. I love tabletop audio.
Well, and Jeremy and Chuck both have the light show for their background, so
It is
both are
fair.
ready
Yeah.
to go.
Okay.
Funky fresh.
Okay. So, as you come inside, as the bouncer, the headed bouncer kind of comes in, steps out of your way. But as you come in, like those of you who don't have one on, you definitely get some double takes by the bouncer, like the real bouncer, as you pass by them. They kind of look, and they look up at the two of you who've got the bells on. They look down at this and then up, and like, kind of very confused about what's happening. And then you see them like with this big old meaty hand just kind of wave this in front as several of you have that smell like sewage stink on as you wander in. When you look around, you can see that there are teen ravers, let's call them, everywhere. Like they're all over the place. They're wearing their kind of tight, kind of Victorian clothes. Some of them with like these big old bells at the bottom of their, like, you know, like bell-shaped, what's it called, dresses. A few of the guys are like wearing these like fancy, well-designed like overcoats that are kind of mouth-shapen, but also colorful as they're wearing weird bracelets and these glowing necklaces here and there. You can see that there's all sorts of like the private security people who are kind of wearing these leather-like jackets that are moving about. You notice that there is a stage where there's a variety of those steel workers that you saw outside that are up on stage, and they are the ones playing the various musical instruments. So there's someone playing a harpsichord, someone's got like a violin out, there's a cello, flutist, and it's like this group of steelworker factory, like techno artists. You notice that there is a balcony up here, like a second level. And when you look up, like it's just sort of the strangest, like there's people up there, but they kind of, all you really see is like the silhouettes of them, these dark silhouettes with like contours of like glowing yellow and sort of red light here and there. And it seems to be accessed by this like metal circular staircase that goes up to the balcony. Yeah, and otherwise everyone here is just dancing and moving about. What do y'all want to do?
We just
Poggy
like cut the
is-
rug.
Poggy is going to look for a bar.
There is in fact a bar down here, and you do see that there's a handful of folks that are on it. They're not on it, but near it, and they're drinking out of these very tall, like lit and strange-looking glasses. Some of which have these kind of light that almost seems to be emitting from them. Yeah.
Poggy is going to jab Lucky in the side with her elbow. Be like, thirsty?
I am, yeah, but I'm on duty, so I don't know if I can go and get one.
Ah, live a
Think you
little.
could get one for? Oh, all right. So I'll approach the
one.
bar.
Okay. You approach the bar and you see another one of those people that are dressed like steel workers, like standing behind the bar, and they see you come up. What do you say?
Of an aviation.
They look at you like, hey, I don't think you're supposed to drink while you're on duty.
Oh, I was just, getting off. Say, take off the helmet.
Oh, man, you're not supposed to take those off in front of other people, you know? It's the mystique and everything. The managers, and his eyes kind of flicker up towards the second balcony. They ain't gonna be happy at that, so be careful, you know? You new here or something?
Yeah, it's my first day.
Okay. Yeah, sure,
My
no
shift
problem.
was over. My shift was over 5 minutes ago. They had me take off early because it was the first night.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I don't mean to be rude or nothing, but, you stink, man.
I do, yeah, like the river. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there was some jackasses that decided to try and start some trouble.
And kaboom.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
sure.
I'd show you the shiner I got, but
Yeah, you don't want to take it off. No, an aviation. Okay, I don't know what that is. I really just got the one drink, you know? And you look around and everyone's got the same kind of fluted, strange-looking glass with all the different lights kind of flickering up out of it. But I can give you one of those if you want them, you know? No problem.
oh yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, here you go.
Lean into what you're good at.
Then go ahead and take it. You know, it's good stuff. It's good. You have fun. And he kind of looks over at you, Poggy. Hey, where's your bracelet?
I just, been busy out there. You know how it goes. Get sweaty.
No, you can't. No, I can't serve you without the bracelet, you know? And you gotta get the bracelet. you're not. Hey, man, you're not supposed to bring people in here. And
Oh yeah,
kinda,
yeah. No,
like,
they the people who was causing the trouble. Somehow she got caught up in it. And they grabbed her by the wrist, and she doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I said I could probably help her get another one.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I can get a one. 1 second, guy. 1 second. And he kind of leans on. Yeah, this should fit you. Here you go. We don't get, many of your kind here. You're looking a little different than our clientele. And you look around, and it's just like a bunch of like Cuban-looking teen rich kids, right? So yeah, you are kind of standing out. But he gives you one nonetheless. Like, hey, any friend of, hey, what'd you say your name was again?
Oh, this is Lucky.
Oh, Lucky. Yeah, nice to meet you, Lucky. I'm Abe.
Nice to meet you, Abe.
Yeah, just a couple tips, man. Don't take the helmet off, keep the mystique up. You don't want to upset the managers, okay? Just make sure. And if you're gonna bring in friends, it's fine. You can let your friends in, but you gotta get them the bracelets first, just so you know.
Oh, where do I get them? That way I'm not taking you away from the bar any longer. I mean, because I see over there, they want a drink too, so.
Oh, yeah. Who? Wait, what? You got more? He's like looking around. Are you pointing to the rest of the people?
No, I'm pointing to other people at the bar, but I'm just asking where the bracelets are.
Oh yeah.
So I know how.
Up front. Yeah, you just gotta know the whatever the password is for this week. I don't know the password though. I work the bar.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hey man, if you're gonna take the helmet off, you might want to go into the locker room first, and then you can come back out and you can drink, dance, and do whatever you want to do, man. It's fine. I gotta get back to work though before they see me. Oh god, oh god. And he looks up and he's just saying like, oh god. And you look up. And have you drank any of what he gave you? Have you taken any sips or anything?
Not yet.
Okay. And you just look up and you see that same sort of silhouette figures of people on a balcony with occasional contours of like yellow and reddish light. Like, yeah, they get really mad. Oh, they're getting mad. All right, get out of here, get out of here, Lucky.
All right, so I grab it and go.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? The other three. Bottom row.
On the rug, I'm dancing. Just, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Who else?
Noggin is really feeling the music and the people. She's going to find a group of people to dance with.
Okay. All right. And then finally Poindexter.
Well, it's funny. We did talk about rats a little bit earlier, and rats know how to find all the nooks and crannies. And I figure I'll just try and search around, see if I can find some, and then definitely maneuver my animal copulation abilities to see if I can coax one into being friendly with me and lead me around.
Okay. All right, so just one at a time. Chuck is Ralph. You're dancing. Are you wearing your helmet? Are you wearing your helmet?
I earned this.
Okay.
I think.
So you start moving around the dance floor, dancing with your bell helmet on, and everyone's kind of moving away from you, but you're getting like really strange and frightened looks from a lot of these ravers, and eventually you feel a hand wrap around your arm, and you look over and you see it's one of these like security looking guys. And he's like, hey, why don't you come with us, okay? The managers want to talk to you. They don't think you're doing your job quite right. So why don't you just come on with me. Let's not make a scene out of this. We don't want anyone to get in trouble now, right?
No.
No,
I'm dancing.
You maybe later, but the managers want to talk to you. That's what they want to do. So we're just going to go do that right now, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm asking right now by being nice, and if you don't come, I'm not gonna ask anymore. Okay? And you see, he just takes from like his belt some sort of like it looks like almost like a nightstick, but as he like extends it, you hear like this sparkling coming from it, and when you look at it, it's also sparkling. Well, you don't want to have any trouble here.
I made my lower regions tense up. We better go. I ain't want none of that.
Okay. So he starts leading you up that circular staircase towards the balcony. Then we'll go over to Noggin. Noggin, you're finding a group of teens.
Yes.
Okay, do you have smells like sewage on your...
I don't.
You don't? Okay. Roll a dex save. Let's see how well you... Or actually, dex or charisma. You can do either or. Dex would be like just the physical, how good are you at dancing. Charisma would be like more like if you're saying something or exuding a level of confidence, whichever you prefer.
Dex is better by 1 point, so I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah, so it's just sort of like how well
3.
you do.
Ooh.
You dance pretty well as you get up, and what are you wearing?
So I'm dressed more like kind of like a fancy peasant boy. So I have my pants are kind of ripped, and then I have one of those big ruffle collars because I found it in the trash one day.
Okay.
And that's really and then I have like just a white shirt.
Okay. So you get up to this group of teens who are dressed in these sort of retro neo-Victorian outfits, and one of them's like, "Oh my, what is it you're wearing? Oh, this is a very interesting aesthetic here. You look like a, I would call it a rich peasant boy. How interesting. Ruffle. Oh, I see you've taken the rugged aesthetic into your clothing."
I heard that it is rustic. It's very niche right now. You wouldn't know unless you follow the couture magazines that I like to read.
And then Noggin like does this like really like weird bow to like a lady and like holds her hand out.
Would you do me the honor?
And then
I would. Thank you. You start dancing, and it's like a mix between like club dancing but line dancing at the same time. It's very strange. So everyone's sort of dancing.
Noggin is also aggressively voguing at the same time.
And how you move your hands like this while you also are moving your hips and so.
Yes.
How do you manage to combine such dexterous movements at the same time?
You just have to let the music go through your person.
Oh, are you on? Would you like to have a bit of? And you could see like they kind of reach out this glass, this like little fluted glass. You do not seem to have any of the Pharma. Would you like some?
Oh, that would be lovely.
And Noggin just opens her mouth and lets her pour it in.
Oh jeez, roll a d6. Okay.
2.
Okay, so you start as you're there dancing around, and they're talking, and you're like lights are flashing. You just suddenly hear as if like those same sort of like weird sounds, voices that Ralph and Lucky described. You can kind of hear them too, except now they're like working in sort of this perfect harmony with the music being played, and you feel yourself just sort of like getting into this very serious trance-like moment where like you're really doing what you were just sort of half fakely describing, and you feel this like weird vibe kind of begin to overtake you. Your eyes kind of get really big, your pupils kind of dilate, you feel this intense sweat coming down, and the voice just continues to just like radiate, and you keep thinking that maybe you understand what they're saying as you just begin to just meld into this movement with this person you're dancing with. Okay, and then we'll go over to the rat catcher here. You definitely find rats in one of the corners. You can see like there's this dugout portion of the wall where like some of the concrete's kind of been eaten away. You can see there's some rime and stuff that have sort of caked on, and you can see there's some rats that are as you get close, are getting ready to bolt. Roll a charisma save, or describe what you're doing, and then we'll see if there's any bonus to this as you try to
Or
convince.
don't describe it too
No. I think in intense detail. Intense detail.
Well, I mean, I actually would take advantage of my stench to draw them towards me.
That's a good point.
Fortunately, they might actually enjoy it. So I'll just invite them to swarm over me, and then I will take my electro leash at its lowest setting, and I will just engage lightly. I can't.
Yes, you can. Come on. You started it.
You got to finish the job.
You gotta finish, man.
I always
Don't blue ball these rats.
It's true. I always.
Chuck's dying. Chuck's dying.
It's
God.
true. I do always bring my work to a conclusion. So I
Roll a charisma save. You can take advantage of it.
I'm going to red rocket one of these rats, and then I will engage the prostate with the electrolytes.
Oh my god.
You always get the
You
interesting rolls in this
You
game.
rolled really well
Your
too. You rolled
characters.
really well. I'm gonna say that you get about 3 rats.
Put your
who
hands
seem-
away.
You get about 3 rats who seem very taken with you, very smitten by your process. Some of the others run away, but these 3 seem very, very, very friendly, very amorous towards you, crawling up into your hair here and there and such. But yeah, you have 3 satisfied rats. What would you like to do?
I'd like to have them lead me deeper into the building, into the recesses maybe they're familiar with that regular people wouldn't be.
Okay, yeah,
My
sure.
hands are never clean.
And they kind of lead you a little bit further along the wall into this very, very dark corner where the lights from above don't seem to quite reach. And you can see that there's kind of a rusted, but it's again one of those faux rust vent, and like they've nibbled away at it. But it looks like you could easily remove it and crawl through it.
Okay.
Okay. So Poindexter starts crawling through the vents with his 3 new rat friends. Okay, we'll cycle back to the top table, the top of the overlay. Lucky and Poggy, what are you doing now?
Lucky's going to head towards the locker room.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
And he's going to, as soon as he gets a moment alone, he's going to dump the drink out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to immediately take out his needles and start treating this inanimate object.
Okay, so there's a couple different ways into and out of this room, this like kind of proto rave room. There's the way you came. There definitely seems to be the front edges where more people are coming from, and then there looks like there's sort of the side section that goes kind of you kind of weave through a couple different hallways, but there are like these rusted signs kind of pointing to like this locker room area. Then they kind of the hallways go in different directions too, but you go ahead and you go with it, and Noggin, you're going along, and you can see there's people kind of changing out. Some of whom are getting into what looks like those private security uniforms, like they got their leather, like these leather trenches and these spark rods and stuff. And yeah, you're in there and you start treating the drink. Is there anything you're doing there, Poggy? I keep confusing Poggy and Noggin.
Are there any kind of quiet areas of the locker room that I can kind of poke around in?
If you want to be
Anything?
stealthy, just roll a dex save. Try to be stealthy about it. There's people in here, but like no one's really kind of getting in anyone's business, so it's really just
It's a 7 under 12.
Okay. So what are you looking for?
I am looking for like keys, because we're looking for something that's hidden in here somewhere. So I want to try to see if I can find like a set of keys or something.
Okay. Sure. set of keys. Would you settle just for like a general map?
Yes. That would have been my second thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really keys, but you can potentially, like, you can find what looks like a basic, like, map, and it shows, like, points, like, where people are posted for security. And so it just seems to be over by the area where they're, like, people are kind of looking to see where they're posted, where they've been assigned for the night. And you can see a full spread of the whole factory. It certainly seems like only about a quarter of the factory seems to be used for this. And then you can tell that there's about another quarter of the factory that's been dipping down into the canal and is essentially unusable. And it looks like there's like the other quadrant of the factory is like some sort of recording studio section. And then there's another section that's off limits.
So I would like to make a mental note of how to get to the off-limits section.
Absolutely, that's not a problem. You can very easily see and sort of navigate in that direction. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to go back down to the bottom row, and we're going to start with Chuck. Chuck, you, unfortunately, you have been dragged up to the second floor. As you look around, you can see, like, up here, it's very strange things are happening up here as you just see what looks like these, even from below, they were silhouettes with like these weird colorful contours, and you thought maybe that's just a trick of the light. Well, now you're up here and you can see there's a handful of these like highball cocktail type tables and like a couple stools here and there, and you got these sort of weird contraptions and things that are kind of sitting on top of them. And you can see there's about a dozen of these different silhouetted figures, but they all still look silhouetted. You're like 3 feet from them. The light's not any different, and you just see they almost look kind of two-dimensional in some ways with like this outline, almost like a neon glow stick outline. Some of them yellow, some of them red. And you hear like the sound of the guy's voice, like, I'm sorry to do this to you, fella, but managers wanted to see you. And he's like, good luck. And you see him kind of scurry away as you start getting swarmed by like this entire second floor. And you just hear like in your head, like in the bell, one of them reaches a hand out and you can see this like kind of Gumby like hand stick out towards you. And then you start to hear, like behind the sounds of the voices, like this slowly crescendoing sound of like a scale of music that's just, it's kind of getting a little bit more unnerving the louder and louder it gets.
Oh, listen, you can't do anything to me because I joined the National Stamp Workers Union, and I won't talk to you unless I have my union representative here. So I'm just gonna go. Okay.
And you hear the scales, these pentatonic scales, just get louder and louder and louder and louder. Roll a d8.
No thanks.
Those scales are jazzy.
Got a 4.
Take 4 points of charisma damage as your confidence in like your composure is beginning to dwindle at this point. One of them reaches out with their hand, and like this kind of Gumby like hand, and just wraps it around what looks like your wrist, and then you just feel this like vibrant shaking happen.
No thank you, sir. No thank you. I'm gonna...
Okay, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna panic.
Okay.
I think panicking is good, but I'm not gonna cry because I'm a big kid. But I am gonna go ahead and just escalate the situation to a point that it doesn't need to be taken to, and I'm gonna pull my flare gun out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put a fist-sized hole through this thing.
Okay.
Cow.
So you shoot, you fire, and a big hole in one of the ones that's grabbing you suddenly opens, and you just see all of them now every one of them who has that kind of outline contour, and there's about a dozen up here. You just put a hole through one of them, and it just sort of like folds over like a loose piece of like a wet piece of paper falling to the ground, and then the other ones all kind of turn red, and you hear the pentatonic scale stuff blast as loud as you possibly can. Go ahead and roll another d8.
Oh no. Another 4?
4 more points of charisma damage, and they swarm in your direction. The only people, I think, who are left in the area who would have seen this flare go off, I think it's only Noggin. I think everybody else has left at this point. Because Noggin, you're down in the trance-like area. Noggin, roll a charisma save.
Ralph, do you still have charisma left?
I got 3 left.
You're okay still?
2.
Okay. You do notice kind of no one else really does here. You can tell like you feel your like the trance-like state is sort of overwhelming you a bit, like you're kind of losing control. You also look kind of at your hand a little bit, and it's kind of going all back to the future-y. Like your hands just kind of starting to flicker out, your arms kind of starting to flicker out a bit. You're like looking at the person you're dancing with, the same thing is kind of happening to them. They're just sort of flickering in and out. And then suddenly you see up on the balcony this big eruption of fire. And you look up and you see a bell-headed figure up there. You know that your friend Ralph holds one of these flare guns, and so you could probably put 2 and 2 together. You're not feeling quite right. You're feeling very out of sorts. And you're still hearing the strange sounds. But this is what you see. What do you want to do?
Do I still see any of the silhouettes up there?
Yeah, you do. And they're all red at this point.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna start looking around for like Poggy or Poindexter to see if I see any of them.
You unfortunately do not. It's just you and Ralph left in here.
Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna.
Excuse me, my friends. I must go to the loo.
And then she's gonna start going up the stairs.
Okay, you start to go up the stairs, and immediately one of these private security dudes in the leather, he steps right in front of you. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, miss. This is for VIPs only, managerial staff. Go back and enjoy yourself.
Where's the restroom, if you don't mind?
Let's go ahead right through there, make a left, and he kind of points over towards one of the side entrances into the room.
Okay. Noggin's gonna head over there and hope that Lucky or somebody's over there, and she's gonna head on over.
All right. We'll go back to Ralph then. Ralph, you just hear it's like you feel like your head's imploding upon itself as these pentatonic scales are just getting louder and louder and faster and faster, louder and louder, faster and faster, louder and louder, faster and faster. And these things are now kind of closing in on you and reaching at you. What would you like to do?
Well, first I got to take this helmet off because it's killing all of my charms, and like I ain't got much left. So I just bend forward really far and just like a downward dog and let the helmet fall off my head.
Okay. And then, so as you do that, the helmet falls, rolls around on the ground.
Yeah.
But you still hear the scales going off. The sounds of the voices, but the scales are still there.
So now I got to escape. Now that I'm bent over and this thing's off my head, I'm just going to somersault roll forward, trying to give him the slip and get out of there.
Do you want... So the best way to get out of here, there's 2 ways down. There's the balcony, jumping off, and then there's the staircase that's blocked at the bottom by one of the security guys.
I am going to... Is the balcony's got a rail?
Yeah, you can jump over. Like, you certainly could.
Oh.
It would be a dex save to see if you land without damage.
That's disappointing. I wanted the somersault off of it.
Do it.
100% somersault fall.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab
get on
it
top
and just...
of one of those tables? Yeah.
Look, I'm a hedgehog. Look at me go. And as I jump off.
Okay.
And then I roll dexterity and I fail.
Okay, roll a D. I'll say a D4. Roll a D. It's not that high up.
You're being nice.
We do have one reroll, by the way, that
2.
Kaylee gave us.
Take 2 points of HP damage.
I've got 1 HP left.
All right, you are still up and conscious. Then you don't have to make a strength save. Okay.
Gave him the slip.
As you get up, you look around, and you can see from the different corners of the room, all of those private security guys are beginning to close in on your direction, on your position, I should say. You can
run for the bar.
Okay, so you run over towards the bar. All right, let's kick it over then to Poindexter. Poindexter, you have been crawling through this vent for a not insignificant time, and when you finally pop out, you can see that you are in what looks to be like some kind of boiler-like room. There's machinery like everywhere. Some of it still seems to be pumping, functioning. It looks like there's some plumbing, maybe some generator stuff in here. You can see there are these huge like rat nests. Water is kind of spilling out here and there. They're diving in, kind of shaking themselves off and hopping back out. There does seem to be a door that leads out of here as well. There's no one in here currently. There is like one lamp that you can see that's got this flickering kind of basic light bulb that kind of gives a little bit of light in here. And you can see that there's rafters that kind of climb all the way up. And as you look up, you can kind of see the night sky above you. This looks to be like you're underneath one of the areas that was open to the sky that you saw outside.
Oh, well, this is, you guys have just really been so wonderful. Thank you so much. Lead this.
Squeak.
Yeah, you're very generous. Thank you.
Squeak.
I suppose I'll be looking around. If there's a doorway, I might even come up and get close to it and listen.
Yeah, you listen through. Music's very faint, very distant. Yeah, you don't really hear anything otherwise on the other side. Seems coast is clear.
Of course, being the master of clandestine nature I am, I'll just walk right through the door.
Okay. You walk right through the door. You hear that squeak, squeak, squeak. As three rats are following on your heels. No problem. Yeah, you wander about for a little bit in what looks to be like this very dark industrial area. And as you're looking at it, you can tell it looks different from the other places you've been. Like, it smells rusty over here. It smells kind of waterlogged over here. You can see old tools that are laying on the ground. Tongs here, sledgehammer there. You can see old drill bits and stuff that are kind of thrown about. There's walls that have kind of been torn down, and you can see the inner workings of them. And you can, as you're moving through, you enter in this kind of fairly large work area, this work sort of foundry. You can see these old, what looks like smelting areas that don't seem to be working. It's extraordinarily dark, but there's a little bit of light flickering down from above as everything's underneath this sort of skeletal area. Eventually, though, you see like this rusted old door. Like it's fairly big, double set of doors. You can have to go down a half set of stairs, and like there's railings on the other side, and there's a ramp as well. There looks to be like some sort of like pallet jack thing off to the side. You're not sure exactly how that works, but you can see like above the door it says approved personnel only.
And does that seem to be in the old, actually legitimately old sort of signage, or is that in the pseudo old sort of signage?
It looks gross and old. Yeah, it looks legit. Everything kind of reeks in here. You don't see any signs of like proper upkeep. This looks legit. Yeah.
If it's too legit, I won't quit. I'm just gonna go right in there.
Okay. You bust open the door. Do you have a light source?
Oh God, I have a huge failure in my plan here.
It takes a little work. I'm not going to make you roll strength, but it takes a little work to open the door. But eventually you are, and you get this sort of scent of staleness erupt, but also a bit of mildew and mold, and it's very, very dark in here. Like you can't see anything, and you just hear squeak, 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 squeak. We'll kick it over to somebody else as you can think about that a bit. Adam, we'll go back to Lucky and Poggy, who are in the locker room. I think was the last we saw them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what do you two want to do?
So Poggy's going to show Lucky the map.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of walk over and just be like, "Hey, can you do that and walk at the same time?"
Oh, yeah. I mean, this class is just very tense. This is very tense.
Okay.
It's like keep, its chakras are out of alignment. We gotta open it up. Standard stuff when you come across somebody who didn't know how to blow glass right.
Sure. And so Poggy's going to try to find our way to that.
Okay. You leave the locker room, start moving around. Ashley, high or low?
Hi.
Okay. And no, that's good. You said high.
100. And I was like, no.
Sorry. So you two start you leaving the locker room, kind of backtracking your way, and no one seems to sort of stop you at this point. They saw you take off like the uniform. You've got the bracelet on, but you bump into in the hallways, kind of leading from the locker room with the bathrooms, all those types of things. You run into little old Noggin, who's kind of looking really strange, because as you watch her, she's just sort of like flickering here and there. Like you can see like she just flickers. If you're familiar with Back to the Future, it's like that moment in the looks at the photos. That seems to be what's happening to her.
Guys, it's wonderful that I ran into you. Ralph, his flare gun went off, so I know he punched a hole in someone. He was up in the manager's area. I try to run up there. It's blocked. They do not let me. I don't know what to do. I took drugs.
That doesn't explain why you look the way you do, but
I met the coolest people. We were dancing. It was so wonderful.
So Lucky, do you still have the bell hat on?
No, I got it like tucked under the crook of my arm. Because I had to take it off to see what I was doing with the chakras on the glass.
Well, I actually think Ralph is doing a really good job being a distraction at the moment. Then maybe we can go get what we need to do and just free him from wherever they're going to put him on our way out.
Okay.
Did you guys not hear when I said that he used his flare gun, which meant that he probably punched a hole in somebody?
All right. So put the helmet on and I'll start heading up there.
Okay. So out there, Chuck, as Ralph, you have been running towards the bar on the other side of the room, from where the balcony was, and you can see that security is closing in on you. How do you want to handle this? You're muted.
I'm muted. Damn it. I jumped behind the bar.
Okay.
Like a dive back there.
Guy turns to you, he's like, the bartender's like, hey, you can't be back here, man.
Shush. I don't need any back talk at the moment.
Okay, man, but I mean, you're not supposed to be back here, man.
I want to start grabbing liquor bottles.
Okay.
I'm going to start throwing them out into the crowd.
Oh, God. Okay.
Where the people are coming.
Okay. All right. So you spend your turn throwing bottles out into the ground. Okay. I'm going to say, let's see how many of them can get to you. All four of them. All four of them.
Oh, God.
Close in on you. And they're like at the edge of the bar, and they're like sticking down with their spark, like these like kind of like spark hammer things, baton things, as they're kind of swinging them down at you behind. So that means I get 4 shots of this, I think.
We got some bits.
Maybe Buggy was right and he's just distraction now.
You don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, basically I get to roll 4d8, but only the highest one counts, Chuck. It's not like it's cumulative. So 48 and the highest individual, which is an 8.
That hurts.
So yeah, how does that do with your HP?
Well, I'd subtract my last HP, which puts me at 0.
Oh no.
Okay.
And then I got 5 strength. So I'm -2.
Oh
no.
So none of you are there, but stories will be told later of what actually happens. As there's a rumor later on, this is hours from now, days from now, weeks from now, as people talk about that time, that one weird big kid hopped behind the bartender, the bar, and just burst into sparks and light and just drifted up and out of the entire factory as poor Ralph is no more.
I died.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I died.
And we'll say, meanwhile, like that's right when Lucky, you peek your head around and you see that happening. And maybe that's what you see at the very last second. You just see these little like kind of vapors of light kind of waft up. When you look over towards the balcony, the red outlines kind of start going back to yellow at that point. As the silhouetted people, the managers in the second level.
Shit, they got Ralph.
They're taking him back up to the managers, or
No, he's dead. Yeah, cool.
you know. I'm too high for this. I don't know what to do.
Just start dancing.
Get more high.
Okay, I will continue.
Rogues it up. All right, what do you guys do? What do the three of you do?
So Poggy wants to beeline it for that.
Okay.
Hey, where's Poindexter?
He had a plan that I don't know where he is.
I saw him kind of like when I was dancing with this beautiful lady. He was talking to rats again. So
Doesn't he
maybe
know we
he's
got a job to do?
napping somewhere.
All right. Well, I'm sure he's with his friends. All
I
right.
was fired
I
for
mean,
experimental theories.
We just gotta look around and see if I was a rat, which I kind of look like one, and see where would I go.
The place where you're not allowed. The top secret place. You know what I mean? As all motion to Poggy.
You go somewhere small.
Yeah. This
maybe
place is small.
warm.
Yeah, it's warm too.
So Poggy has walked.
Is left? You've left?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then so you've left, you're following what you remember of the map. And then Noggin and Lucky, what do you two do?
When I see her leaving, I'm just gonna kind of like vogue across the dance floor to follow her.
You don't have to go across the dance floor. You stay.
Or
You just don't enter the dance floor. Like
Oh,
you guys
okay,
were kind of
okay,
like
okay.
peeking around the corner, and everything in the dance hall area is just going back to normal once poor Ralph was turned into light vapor.
Yeah, you figure out that Lucky just told you that to get you to focus on something else.
Okay.
And Lucky
Yeah.
will go to where
We're going
Poggy
with
went.
Poggy, yeah.
So yeah, the three of you navigate around for a bit, and you come across this big old foundry room, and you see old Poindexter with 3 rats, 2 of them that are kind of like clinging to his pant leg, one of them that's kind of up, kind of sort of massaging the back of his ear, staring into a big, dark, vault area with
And
no light.
you'll see that Poindexter has
Sorry.
taken his electrolash, and there was a pallet jack there that has the 2 elongated metal prongs, and he'll wrap the electrolash around it to then create some sort of luminescence.
Why are you taking such the hard way?
Noggin says as she pulls out her spot lamp.
Turns it on. I can provide light for you.
Well, Noggin, that's wonderful. It's going hard is the only way I know.
And so you hold the lantern inside. I'm glossing over. You're going to do it at the end. You hold the lantern inside, and you can see that there are several stacks of silver and gold ingots piled up inside. Otherwise, gross and messy room. And you can tell that there's this black mold that's kind of creeping along the walls here and there. But there's several of these stacks of these ingots.
Noggin would like to look around the room, perhaps see if she can find alternate exit.
So we'll say that the rats show you a weak portion of the foundation on the western side of the foundry. Like you can see this the holes in the wall at the bottom of the concrete, and they like kind of zip on out and zip back in, zip back out, zip back in. And like you realize if you put a little damage into the wall itself, you can kind of just knock the rest of that concrete down. And you're like
Start working.
Okay. All right.
He's going to take her leather jacket and use that to kind of pile up all of these like bars in and kind of make like a little.
Okay. All right. And so what we'll say is, as everyone's piling up as best you can onto the pallet jack or into your packs or you're getting tons and tons of stuff here. Ralph never shows up, never comes back. Lucky you did see something happen to him. As you all are leaving the compound with probably with the pallet jack itself and your new 3 rat friends, you look up into the sky and you can see, I'm going to say lucky you, especially you would notice this, that you can see there are these heavy, extraordinarily bright vapors of light just sort of wafting up. And it's like all of the music and the noise, the cheering, the shouting that was coming from the inside of the foundry suddenly just dissipates into quiet. And then the foundry lights kind of go off and everything is dark and quiet and seemingly empty. And as you're moving around on the streets, you look over towards like where everyone was coming in and coming out, and it doesn't look as though anyone is leaving. And we will end on that with you all having gotten your ingots of cash, 3 new friends, but you lost one.
Oh.
I like to think Ralph now, if we play again, he will be the rats.
Oh, if I could play the 3 rats that are in love with Jeremy's character.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
But yes.
Okay, I'm putting down Chuck plays the rats next time.
This is through power.
Just going to spend the entire 2-hour session just presenting it, Jeremy.
Jeez. Oh, we keep it classy here on the Adventures in Lollygagging. Friends. Oh, boy. All right.
It's a family show.
It's totally. It's just like, what was that one rat movie? Ratatouille or something. That happened in Ratatouille.
Willard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why don't we hit some closing plugs? Let's do a round table. Put the ass in classy. That's perfect. Adam, what's going on with Grim and Perilous Studios?
Well, we're going to Gen Con Indy this time around. We're running games for Andrews McNeil. And if you go to that website that Nightbot posted up there, the very first article, you'll see a survey that if you'd like to run games with us at Gen Con, tell your parents that you actually did make some money running games, playing games, something like that. We're paying $15 an hour and $20 per game session that you run. So check it out, sign up, and join us. We'll have lots of fun.
Very cool. Speaking of Gen Con, another person going to it is Chuck. Chuck, what's going on with DLK this week?
Wednesday, we're doing something. Bert's running a thing, and I don't remember what it is because I pay very little attention to things.
New Marvel.
Yeah, the new Marvel thing. That's it.
Yeah.
I need to look at my phone. I don't remember if we got watercolors this week or not. I don't even know. No watercolors on Thursday. Friday, we'll be doing the wrap up for Joe's Anvia campaign system he's making. And then Saturday. Oh, Adam, did you talk about Saturday? Is Saturday Heart?
I think so.
Yep.
Unless we suddenly leave in the middle of the week.
Okay.
I think it'll be.
It's
hard,
up in the air.
Yeah. Leaning yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the man you know as the rat lover, Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
Yes. If you love rats, you'll also love Aaron Reese on Patreon. with our comic books and maps and other RPG assets.
Yes.
99% less rat semen.
Yep. Oh God.
I think that lost me. I mean,
You're trying to sell the Patreon. You're not
Right?
trying to
I
steer
thought
people
saying
away
less
from
rat semen would be good.
no, you want more. Always more.
No, always
Okay.
more.
Yeah, supersize that shit.
Oh God. As for us here on the Lollygaggers, me, Melissa, and Ashley, I think we might be doing Hunter on Friday.
We're
Ashley,
doing
do you know
Friday.
yet?
Yeah,
You're
we're
good
doing
on Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
We are starting up our Hunter the Reckoning game. So you can catch the three of us. You can catch our friend Long and our other friend Aaron, who's going to be joining us for the first time on the channel. He's going to play in that. So Hunter the Reckoning, World of Darkness just came out. Very excited. Are we doing One Ring, though, on Saturday?
No, unfortunately.
No One Ring. Okay, so
Yeah,
no
no
One Ring, because Ashley hates Tolkien. And
Don't.
and
I got
currently
birthday
scheduled.
plans.
That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. No, we understand you're not committed. And then next Monday, currently scheduled is Holler for Savage Worlds. So that's it for us. Thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you, Farkadev, for the complication towards the beginning with the two. I put the two bell guys. They were pretty rough, actually. But we're going to go ahead and raid someone if you want to hang tight. No. I'm sorry. I'm just going to quickly ban. All right, we're gonna go ahead and raid somebody if you want to hang tight. Just follow along, and yeah, we'll catch you later in the week. So bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.